G'day. I've got a demo of the type of things that we can do with custom accounts that Soroban is bringing to Stellar. This is a really cool feature that I think is going to give folks a lot of freedom, and it's going to be really interesting to see what people do with it. Custom accounts are smart contracts. They can be used as an account on Stellar, so they can hold assets, interact with other contracts, and how account abstraction is really showing up on Stellar by using Soroban. So in this demo, I have a custom account that implements Webauthn, or what's also being called passkeys. And my passkey credential is what is going to control my account. It's going to control whether I can transfer funds or not. So let's give it a whirl. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my credential. So this is my passkey credential that I've just created here in my browser using my passkey. And I'm going to deploy the account, the custom account, which is a contract. And so this is the contract ID. You can see it's a contract because it starts with C. And this is the ID for my account. Now I've got this bundler account, this other account, that's going to be the account that pays the fees for my transactions because custom accounts can't pay fees. And it's also going to be like my faucet. It's going to provide my custom account with some funds. So I'm going to fund my custom account now. I can see I've got 1,000 into that wallet. And when I go to refund it, it's going to prompt me to authenticate with my passkey, because my passkey is the one that's actually signing the data, the authentication data that will allow the transfer to go ahead. And it worked. There we go. Here's the transaction, and it was successful. And we can see, and I can keep doing this. Every time I do a transaction, I need to engage the passkey again, because the passkey is the one that's actually doing the authentication. Let's have a quick look at the contract that's powering the custom account. So this is the contract that's powering the custom account. We can see that it's implementing the custom account interface, and it's got just two functions. It's a pretty small contract. In size, it's only like 2 kilobytes when it gets compiled. So it's got an init function, which gets called when you call it when you first deploy the contract with the public key of the passkey. So it's going to use that to verify that yes, this transaction is approved, this operation is approved. It's going to store that in some storage here under this key. And then every time this contract gets used as the address that's performing some operation, its check-auth function is going to get called. And in that check-auth function, it's going to get given a hash of a payload, which is what's being authenticated. And it's going to get given some signatures. And those signatures are of this data here. So if you're familiar with Webauthn, this should start looking familiar at this point. We have the authenticator data, the client data, which is a JSON blob, and then the actual signature that the key has produced over that those two prior pieces of data. And if we look down into the function in here, it's pretty, there's not really much code here. We're talking, less than, like 30 lines of code. We're producing the payload that got signed, doing some verification of the signature, and then having a look once we know this has actually been signed by our key, then doing some verification of exactly what got signed to make sure that it did indeed contain the signature payload, which just happens to be base 64 encoded in Webauthn messages. And if it's not what we expect, we'll error and the operation won't be approved. Otherwise, everything's okay. So this is just one little thing that we can do with custom accounts on Stellar with Soroban, and it'll be really interesting to see what other people come up with.